huh?
What's up?
Hey.
Welcome to MGSCON 2.
How many of these will you come to? 5,000 or rather 6?
Well, we are glad to see you guys. Give it up for yourselves. Thank you for your support. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Marks. I am the Vice President of the Motion Picture Sound Editors and the founder of a sound studio called Transported Audio. We have a wonderful group today, and we're going to start with a little message from Snake.
So, the Hudson River, 23 years ago. We had classified intelligence that a new type of convention was scheduled for Metal Gear fans. Based on my long-distance recon, MGSCON 1 seemed like fun. This time, it's not a solo mission. Let's infiltrate this Long Beach tanker together. And you can just ignore the whole big shell thing. That place was just for riding my skateboard. We kept you waiting, huh?
Thank you, Snake. As I mentioned, my name is Eric Marks, and welcome everyone to Long Beach Tanker Mission. It's been a minute, so let's see if Agich has slowed you all down a little bit.
Right?
Intruder to the left. Some of you got it. At ease. Way back in 2001, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty was marketed by Konami as the Hollywood video game. As we look around at the games landscape today, nearly every AAA game is made to look, sound, and feel like a big-budget Hollywood experience. But this wasn't always the case. 23 years ago, one singular game helped create that standard. MGS2 was a landmark achievement on every level, and much of this is thanks to the transcendent characters and performances. Today, you'll get to hear from the incredible voice actors who brought some of our favorite characters to life in MGS2, one of the greatest games ever made. It's not an exaggeration to say that their work paved the way for storytelling in all games and showed us why our deep connection with characters is so crucial to interactive stories. Please help me in welcoming the voice actors of Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. So just to go down around the horn here, we'll start with Solid Snake himself, David Hayter.
Thank you.
Next to David, we have Lady Luck, the tragic queen of Dead Cell who carries a giant railgun at her side, the voice of fortune, Maura Gale. We have the sneaky Russian soldier who will happily disguise herself in a cyborg ninja suit, the voice of Olga, Vanessa Marshall. We have the undead master of knives who can walk on water and dance around bullets, the voice of Vamp, LaMarr. And finally, Snake's partner in crime since he emerged from a locker in Shadow Moses. And yes, he's an otaku too. The voice of Otacon, Christopher Randolph. Why don't we start with this? What do each of you remember about getting your first call to audition for or to be in Metal Gear Solid? David, why don't you start?
Excuse me. It's Fox died. I auditioned for Metal Gear Solid 1 at this weird little house in Hollywood. And Kris Zimmerman had called me in. Just read for it. I saw the Yoji Shinkawa artwork on the walls, and I was like, this looks pretty cool. And, I did my best. But I was a broke actor, writer, producer at the time. And And my friends from the Counting Crows, the band Counting Crows, were recording their third album, and I was hanging out at the house where they were recording it because they had free, foods and stuff. And my Motorola StarTAC phone rang, and it was Jennifer Hale, the legendary voice actress, and she said, "Guess who's going to make some money?" I was like, "Is it me?" Because I very much hope it's me, and it turned out it was me. And Jennifer had asked, could call me and give me the news because we were friends, and that's how I found out that I got the game. I did not know that I'd be here 25 years later, still talking about it, but I'm grateful that that is the case.
We're so glad that you are here. Maura, how about you?
I'm amazing, thank you. I was at the time with Tisherman, the Tisherman Agency, which is now TGMT, but TGMT. And I remember when Steve personally called me, Steve Tisherman called and says, "Hey, we've got this badass chick. She's like 6 feet tall. You'd be perfect for her." I was like, "Yeah, I'm that badass chick." And so I went in and I read for it. And at first I saw an image of Fortune, and I just thought, if I could do her, that would be like a dream, because it was like totally opposite of anything I had ever done before. And I went in, I did the audition, and then, it's the hurry up and wait thing, which you guys may not know about, but you're sitting on pins and needles wondering if the thing you really, really want, if you're going to get it. And sure enough, Steve personally called me, told me I booked the gig, and he thought even at that time that it was going to be a phenom. And who knew 25 years later that we would still have these opportunities to get fan mail across the country and to travel when we can to meet some of our fans. So it was a life-changing experience to be a part of it, and to still be a part of it is just thrilling. I love Fortune. I love everything about her, and I appreciate you guys so much.
We're so happy you're here. Vanessa?
Well, I went to acting graduate school. I have a master's in acting, and I've often told people, you're better off going to dental school, because at least you have secure employment. And I remember playing Masha and all these Russian characters. And when this audition came across, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually going to use my education right now. And I was able to use, Olga, conflict and victory were my parents. Yeah, I finally had a chance to use the dialect. And I remember Kris Zimmerman, the genius director, who sends her love to everyone. She's so sorry that she could not make it. She wanted me to tell you all how much she loved you. Indeed. But she was like, Vanessa, that's really thick. Could you calm down? And I was like, but it's authentic. Okay, calm down. Anyway, but hopefully you understood what I said. And I remember at this point for two, it was at Salami Studios. And that's in the Valley here in LA. And we were all dubbing over the Japanese, and it was so exciting. And everyone from Konami was so lovely. And I thought, well, that was an amazing experience. I didn't know that it would also then turn into, later I got to play Dr. Strangelove, I've come to meet all these incredible people who are also fans of the game. But I will never forget seeing the opening credits to this game. Up until that point, there really hadn't been anything that I'd experienced like that. And quite often, voice actors are sort of tucked under. And when they gave sort of name cards for each of us, I was like, oh my gosh, I know. It was very cinematic and very life-affirming. I don't mind being invisible in voiceover, but it just felt like a symphony of collective work. And so many people came together to make it happen. And I was just deeply grateful to be a part of it. So thank you all for being here today. Lots of love.
Thank you. Phil?
Metal Gear was the only time that being a fan got me a job. I had been playing Metal Gear and was blown away, because back then, it was the most cinematic game. And it was about the only game you couldn't win just by hitting a button, hitting a button, hitting a button. Stealth? You actually have to think and play and live in the world. Nowadays, most games are like that. Back then, it was the one. And I was so blown away by that game. And I was at a recording studio and ran into an old friend from cartoons, Kris Zimmerman. And she said, yeah, I'm holding auditions for Metal Gear 2. Could I audition for something? And just randomly went in and I auditioned. I think I was auditioning for like the DARPA chief or just a couple of random characters. But then halfway through, she goes, actually, we've got this other character we've been having a tough time getting. Could you give us a try on this? And then she gave me a description of this character who, what he wasn't. He wasn't really a vampire. Wasn't specifically from some Eastern European country. And we're not specific about his orientation.
I think they were.
So I just tried to do something that I felt would fit. And then I looked over and I saw Kris looking creeped out. I was like, ooh, I think I'm getting it right. Got lucky.
That's amazing. Christopher, how about you?
Well, for me, it was all Jennifer Hale's fault, really. No, because I was in a regular old acting class with Jennifer Hale, and she was, I think at the time she was having some success as the voice of Dell computers.
Yes.
And she said, you know, I have this really good friend who's teaching a animation voiceover class, and I think you'd really enjoy it. So I said, okay. So I signed up, and there were two teachers. One, this extraordinary voice actor named Charlie Adler. I don't know if you guys know him. If you've ever seen Cow and Chicken. Yeah, right. So Charlie is Cow, Chicken, and the devil. And he has...
In real life, too.
In real life, too. No, he has entire conversations with himself. It's amazing. Anyway, he taught the first half, and then Kris Zimmerman taught the second half. And I really loved that class. And I came out of it in about, I don't know, 5-6 months later, Kris called me up and said, hey, I'm auditioning people for this weird project, and we don't really know what it is, but would you like to come in? And I had nothing going on at the time. I also have one of those MFA things, you know, one of those acting MFA things. Yeah, very valuable. So I went in, and of course they wanted me to audition for Snake. And so they presented me with a picture of Snake and some dialogue, and I tried to be as macho as I could.
Colonel, I'm at Shadow Moses Island.
Yeah, it wasn't quite that bad, but it was. And so I finished, and it was pretty clear that wasn't going to work. And so I was about to leave the booth, and Kris said, hold on, wait a minute. And she brought in a picture of this different character and some dialogue. And it was really weird because the first iteration of Otacon, you probably remember, it's kind of a long face and sort of blonde hair and round wire rim glasses, which I wore at the time. And I was like, this looks a little like me. What is that? So I auditioned and found out a little later that I got it. And it took me I was so stupid about the impact of it. It took me a long time to understand what a powerful, amazing thing it was. And it's amazing that we're all here 25 years later. And it's because of you guys, you know, really and truly. The impact and the fans are really what is keeping all of this alive. So we thank you all so much, really and truly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Those are amazing stories, by the way, of how this all came together, really, truly. I'd love to ask each of you as well, how did each of you go about discovering the unique characteristics of your character and finding their voice? Where do you look for inspiration? You want to start, David?
Yeah, again, I just auditioned with my voice, which at the time was probably sounded a lot more like this. And, Colonel, this is Snake. So, here I am making fun of Kris for no reason. And I think I got the part because I had been in a movie called Guyver Dark Hero, which... Thank you. And I think Kojima was a fan of that. And so I think he was like, oh, the kid from the Guyver, okay, great. Give him the thing. And then I got the script and I was like, oh, he's already, retired. He's like a legend. And he doesn't want to come back and he's kind of bitter. And I was like, I feel like he needs to sound older than me. He needs to sound like he's been dragged across a bunch of bad road. And, so it just came from the script, just reading it out. I just, I just wanted to be left alone and don't want to have to do this mission. And so, and my natural voice was just too enthusiastic. So that's how it happened.
Wow. How about you, Maura?
Well, I have a similar story, not about everything that you said, but when I went in, I felt because she was so intimidating that her voice couldn't be where my natural voice is, so I lowered my range. And when I placed it here, I just felt more powerful and centered her right there. And so when I booked the gig and read her story, I realized all of the weight that she was carrying and the despair. And so you bring the weight of the despair and the loss and the defeat in your mind to this particular character. And she was just one who poured herself out. She was just wrung empty, but at the same time, so powerful that it allowed me to just pull from a lot of different resources of, our past. All of us, we pull from different compartments of our life and we marry it to an image or marry it to a description of a character, and then we come up with this, this full version of a person with real pain, real struggles, real strengths. And so Fortune came from that for me. And her voice had to be low in order to really kind of rock what she needed to rock. That's the best way I could put that to you guys. And we appreciate you.
Amazing. Vanessa?
Well, like I said, my degree finally came in handy. But I'll tell you a little story. Dr. Strangelove, when we first recorded her, she had an American accent. And we got through like biblical amounts of text. And I had been told that I had some hot girlfriend named the Boss. I was like, what? I was by myself. I was like, where's this hot chick? I know Lori, but you know what I'm saying? I was like, hey, how you doing? And so that was like added bonus. But then halfway through, I when they behind the thing they don't have the mic. They conferred. The committee conferred, and then Kris came back on and said, "Okay, we're going to go back to page 1." I'm like, "Am I fired? What just happened?" And she's like, "We decided she should have a British accent." Great. Good thing I studied theater in England. another time of academia. Anyway. So then we redid everything up until that point with a British accent, and then forward with Dr. Strangelove with a British accent. So I kind of found that on the fly. Yeah, that was interesting that they wanted to go all the way back to the beginning. So can you imagine her without the British accent? Now I can. Anyway.
Vanessa, was it similar for Olga as well? Like the Russian accent when you were doing that voice?
Well, yeah, like I said, I had studied all kinds of dialects from all over the world for 3 years in a box in Manhattan. And one of them was the Russian dialect. And of course, Olga obviously hails from that region. And I went in, I found her, I found sort of my inner soldier, and then added what I knew of the dialect, and that was that. So it wasn't quite as exciting as Dr. Strangelove on the fly. But anyway.
Yeah, amazing. How about you, Phil?
Well, like I said before, they gave me sort of a description of what the character wasn't. But I approached it by thinking, it's like, well, if it's not really a vampire, but is called Vamp, maybe he sounds like a vampire. And I began to think, well, if you're a vampire, you don't need to breathe. So what's a voice sound like without air? And I took all of the oxygen out. And it got creepy.
That's amazing. Christopher.
Well, you know, well, but I mean, if you look at Otacon's very first scene,
Pretty iconic.
you know, there's a lot you can derive from that, and vulnerability is the first one I think that came to me, and the idea that this was someone who was not a macho fighter, but had other things to offer, but was scared and anxious and had a depth of feeling. I mean, the more I read of the script, you know, you began to see that he has a conscience and that he's more vulnerable than some of these other monsters. And so I just kind of went with that. And I mean, you know, honestly, that it kind of fits in a little bit with my natural voice anyway, those things. So that was kind of how he developed. But you know, it's interesting because years would go by before we came back and did another one. And I remember, I can't remember, we were back for 2 or 4. I wasn't in 3, in case anyone noticed. I wasn't there.
It's been a while.
It was it was an error somewhere along the line. But I remember being in the studio the first day for one, and I couldn't quite find him. And Kris Zimmerman was like, and she played an old version of it so I could hear it. And then all of a sudden, I wasn't changing my voice. It was a mindset shift. And I said a few lines, and Kris Zimmerman was, oh, there he is. Welcome back, Otacon. And so it's up here more than any kind of vocal manipulation. It's just kind of a way of thinking.
Wow.
As much as anything.
That's incredible. So like Vanessa, I had a chance to chat with Kris Zimmerman Salter this week. Firstly, she says hello to everyone. And she's so sorry she couldn't be here today. But she did want me to share one story from MGS1 with everyone. She was actually first only asked to direct Metal Gear Solid 1. And she accepted the directing job, but told them that she wanted to bring in 20 actors of her own to audition that she felt were right for the parts. 19 of her 20 choices were cast in MGS1, including David and Christopher on the first game here. So she wanted to say with humor to you all, first of all, you're welcome. She also wanted to share that Patrick Zimmerman and Kris were divorced by the time she cast MGS1, but he was too perfect to play Revolver Ocelot. And there was no way that she wasn't going to give him a chance to play that part. I think a lot of people are familiar with your voices. They get really used to the way you sound. They're huge fans, but they don't really know about Kris Zimmerman Salter and her impact on these games. So Just a question for the group. What would you say her casting direction? What is the influence and impact on these stories of all the choices that she made?
I'll just say she is one of the casting directors who knows exactly what she wants and knows exactly how to extract that out of an actor, a voice actor. It's really interesting when you meet someone who has the language that we need to hear to get to the place that someone has in their mind. Because people come with ideas and concepts, and you're just trying to figure out, okay, can you put some words to that? Can you tell me, where you see that? And she really has an innate ability to be able to bring that out and have the right language to extract that from us. That would be the thing that I'd say I recall the most about working with Kris. She knows what she wants, knows how to get it from you, and she will get it from you.
I think she also had such an impact. People ask me all the time, they're like, what's it like working with Hideo Kojima? And I'm like, I have no idea. Because Kojima, he works on the Japanese version of the game, and then when it comes to the States, it's Kris who directs it. So, Kojima would come and visit and said hello, but never been in a booth being directed by him, and which I think is surprising for a lot of people. But it's Kris Zimmerman that really helped nail the tone of what the games became, because we talked about it. It's like, yeah, it's a military game, but it's also deeply weird and it's got this very unique, it's very philosophical. It can be very funny in places. It's, and I think that her choice of the actors to bring in really shaped what that game became. And I know I was inspired by the performances of everybody here to find this weird, unique tone to bring this thing to life and make it utterly unto itself. So, yeah, she's, for me, the prime creative influence in terms of the performances by far. Obviously, Kojima's production design, the shots, the concepts, the writing is all massively impactful as well. But for the way the cast sounds and the way the movie gets played, it's really a huge testament to Kris Zimmerman Salter.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The amazing thing about her is, after having worked with her a while, sometimes she doesn't even need to say anything. She'll just make some kind of gesture in the booth. She'll go more, or whatever, and somehow you'll know what that means.
Yeah.
It's kind of exciting to have that kind of connection with someone on a creative project. I don't think the games would be anything near what they are without Kris.
Yeah, on Metal Gear 4, by Metal Gear 4, I mean, really by Metal Gear 2, Kris would go, David Moore, and I'm like, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could just tell by her face what she was going for, and yeah, it's like telepathy. It's very cool.
It's hard to articulate exactly what she does, because she will say a word or a phrase that is suggestive and evocative, and it is what you need to hear to get to exactly where she wants you to go. And it's this sort of mercurial process. I'll never forget Dr. Strangelove's death scene. I almost felt like with every inhale she was breathing, and I mean we were in outer space creating that together, and I'll never forget that experience. It was so intimate, so focused, and so spooky in a way, because she wasn't saying like, can you just please hurry, or be sublime, or whatever you sometimes happen to hear. I've been told, someone said, could you please be sublime? And I was like, wow, how long do we have? The best direction I heard was Nikos Sarkoropoulos, Yale Drama School, said, evolve. Just like so condemning. Anyway, Kris never did that. But that day is forever etched in my memory as not only something that I think when I hear people speak about how that translated to here, through the game, you were feeling what was actually happening in that moment. I didn't actually die, but I felt like it took the last breath out of me, and It was magical, and that's all Kris. All Kris.
I was wondering if each of you could share maybe one fun insider story, a recording session on MGS that stuck with you all these years that the fans might not know about.
Well, the only thing that comes to mind is the only thing that's ever happened, which was being in a record and not just getting a script in front of you, but getting a screen with the sound of the original Japanese record. So you're seeing how long the line is. You didn't, not reading it, not hearing it, but, I have to finish before it goes flat.
Yes. Yeah.
Never done that before, or since.
Yeah, I remember that.
Wow.
I recall being utterly exhausted, like I had trained with a personal trainer that was on crack and mad at me. My stomach muscles, arm muscles, thigh muscles, with all the fight scenes, I had never experienced that kind of pain. So you're in the moment, you're doing it, it's adrenaline, it's boom, boom, boom. 2 days later, your whole body is just in pain because you want that punch to the gut to not sound like that hit in the head and all of those things. So I just remember going, that was the best damn workout I think I've ever had. And there was no gym equipment. It was just all in that moment. My fight scenes. Wow. Yeah.
You gave.
Yeah.
Wow.
I apologize if you've heard this story. I tell these stories a lot, but my favorite was we were doing Metal Gear 4, and Snake, was still 35 years old, but he was aging. He had advanced aging because of Fox died. I think because of Dr. Naomi. Damn her. And so there's a scene. So I'm already a little on edge, and there's a scene at the beginning of the game where Dr. Naomi is examining old Snake, and she's like, "Okay, Snake, take off your sneaking suit." And so I take off my sneaking suit, and I'm standing there in my underwear or something. And so the script said, she has to go, "Oh, Snake," like this. And I go, hey, and she goes, which was not in the script, and she goes, "You're so shriveled." And from what I understand, that nearly ended up in the game because the Japanese sound guys don't know when we're joking.
Somewhere there's got to be an extended cut somewhere.
Yeah. No, there's a Otacon and I would just drift off into some gay conversation about Oh yeah, listen. We were shipping ourselves long before.
No, he's right.
Oh yeah, from the time we hopped on that snowmobile together.
Yeah, forget it.
So yeah.
That snowmobile session, I remember that. That was pretty fun. There was some really
that
funny
mocap,
things
or?
going on.
It wasn't mocap, but we moved 2 chairs up behind each other. And wanted it to be as
get
realistic.
the feel of everything. Yeah. So, yeah. No.
It's a caribou, yes.
Exactly. I remember one session, I think it was Metal Gear 2, sort of in light of what you're saying, that I did a session for a voice actor is 4 hours. But I did a double, which is 8 hours, so with a lunch break. And it was just me in the booth. There was no one else there. I'm pretty sure it was from Metal Gear 2. And somewhere in there, I think, was EE's death scene where I had to, cry for 5 minutes or something. Kris Zimmerman just kept going, more and more. But I do remember the last half hour of that session we had to do again the next morning because it is so physically demanding. And you don't realize it because you think you're just talking, but to really do this, you're using your body and you're breathing in a different sort of a way, and so it can get pretty intense. So that was an interesting memory. And then I think my favorite memories are the very few times when you're actually in the booth with another actor, which doesn't happen very often. And it's always better. It's always better. I mean, when David and I were actually in the room together, playing off of each other, it's very exciting. I mean, it just comes across much better. And I guess that snowmobile session was one of those.
Amazing. Would anyone be interested in hearing a live reading of a scene?
Wait, I have one favor. Before. I want to call Kris Zimmerman, and could you all just let her know how much we love her? Hopefully she'll answer.
That would be amazing.
If she doesn't answer, we'll just leave a message.
This is on the codec, right?
Oh, very good. Your call has been forwarded.
Kris, it's Vanessa and Phil and Kris and everyone here. We all love you so much. Everyone, please give a big shout out.
You rule, Kris Zimmerman.
We love you.
Everyone loves you so much. We're so sorry you're not here, and we really just wanted you to know how much you mean to us and how deeply grateful we are.
It's true.
As we all know, we wouldn't be here or enjoying the game as much without you.
That's right. Anyway, all right.
Thank you, that was amazing. All right, let's try to read a few scenes. Let's start with scene 1. That would be David and Christopher.
All right. This is Snake. Do you read me, Otacon?
Loud and clear, Snake.
Kept you waiting, huh? I'm at the sneak points.
Everything's going okay?
Well, the stealth camo's busted. Landing impact.
We must have overused it. Sorry, but you're going to have to deal with it. You're not in the military anymore.
Why don't you deal with it? I ad-libbed that. Right. I didn't plan on relying on this gadget anyway.
Private sector's not so bad, is it? Privacy guaranteed.
I'm happy as long as no one gives me any more unwanted gifts.
You mean that thing with Naomi?
Yeah, damn, Fox time. I can feel myself aging as we speak. And I can't say I miss the chattering nanny.
Oh, Mei Ling's not so bad. But that reminds me, I have to get in touch with her again about that new Natick flashware.
Diverting toys from the SSCEN again. Give her a message from me. Someone will find out sooner or later. She's better off assuming it's sooner and quit while she's safe.
Too true. Okay, Snake, let's get to work. You know the technical specs of Metal Gear were sold on the black market after Shadow Moses?
Yeah, all Ocelot's doing.
Exactly. And now every state, group, and .com has its own version of Metal Gear.
Not exactly a classified weapon for today's nuclear powers.
The new one seems to have been designed to wipe the floor with all the other models. The only consistent description is that it's an amphibious anti-Metal Gear vehicle.
That explains why this one is under Marine Corps jurisdiction.
The mission objective is to make visual confirmation of the new Metal Gear being transported by that tanker and bring back photographic evidence. But I want you to first go up to the top level of the infrastructure, to the bridge. We need to find out where the tanker is headed.
A little reconnaissance, huh?
There's too much we don't know about this new prototype. Capabilities, deployment method. We don't even know how close it is to completion. If we know where the testing arena is, I can start to draw some reasonable conclusions.
All right. I'll head to the bridge ASAP.
And cut.
Can I just say, we have never seen that before. At least I'd never seen that before.
I think it's from Metal Gear 2.
Yes,
We've
this
seen
is
it-
all, these are all
seen it at
I've
least
never
once.
seen it before. Was
Someone get an ambulance for Otacon?
20 years ago or something?
Well, thank you.
You don't memorize all the things you've said 20 years ago?
I barely know my name.
All right, well, we're going to go to another scene whenever you're ready.
All right.
5 today, or rather 6. Strange smell. You smell like... Are you? It has to be.
Shoot him! What are you waiting for?
Van,
Yeah, Queen?
are you all done cleaning up?
Yes. But wait till I tell you what I found.
Something interesting?
I'll tell you in person. Where are you?
In the central unit with the president.
Be right there.
And cut. All right, let's jump to scene 4 on the next page. Would anyone like to read with these voice actors as a character? Okay, why don't you come up? You get to voice Raiden.
I just got a text. This just in. Someone do the codec. Beep, 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 beep. Go for Rob. Kris Zimmerman says, got the love message from the MGS gang. Unfortunately, most of it cut off, but probably because it was so loud, right? I like it. Yeah, my microphone peaked out. She said, I felt the love and appreciation. Please tell everyone I love them right back and tell the fans that I love them as well. And COVID sucks. Okay, well, there's that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you can start whenever you're ready. Scene 4.
I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive after all. I knew this moment would come. Show yourself and finish me, like you finished my father. Otherwise, you will be the one to die.
Ah, crap.
Thank you.
Right.
That's not him. This could be interesting. You've seen the fires of hell, haven't you? Maybe you can give me death. My name is Fortune, lady, luck in war, and nothing else, and without a death to call my own. Hurry, kill me, please.
And cut. Let's give it up for Raiden. Do we have another volunteer? Yes, right here. You're going to be the parrot.
My sister won't be able to come with us. I'm always the survivor. Why, Wolf?
Otacon, take care of the hostages.
What about you guys?
We've got other arrangements. There's our ride out of here. Anyway, we're gonna have to sink that thing. What? I think, yeah. Anyway, we're gonna have to sink that thing if the virus doesn't work.
I should be going with you.
You've got your job. We've got ours.
You mean I'd only get in your way?
Wrong. Only you can save those hostages. Got it?
Right. Listen, the two of you won't be able to destroy that thing. Eliminate the enemy. That's your only option.
How?
Damn!
Listen, Otacon, pull yourself together. You too, Parrot. You've got a job to do.
You're right.
And cut. Let's also give it up for the parrot. Okay, scene 6. Do we have another volunteer? Yes, right here. You're going to read his writing.
Are there no girls?
It's
Can
been
be
a,
serious about finding the nude.
Not yet.
No? Sorry.
No problem.
it's been a long wait, Solid Snake. The root of all my sorrows.
What?
2 years ago, you killed my father. That was the beginning of hell for us. Everyone I love has been taken from me, one by one. And no matter how hard I try, I can't follow them. An endless nightmare. The only thing we live for is to see it end. Our wait is almost over.
She can't be serious about finding the nude.
Since no one can kill me, I may as well kill everyone I can. Starting with you, Solid Snake.
Damn.
Thanks for the backup. It looks like I'm today's pick. You go on ahead. You want eternal rest? I've got it right here.
What are you going to do? Bullets can get near him.
I'll think of something. There's no such thing as a witch.
You think you can kill me?
Look, I don't know what your group's been through, but let's get one thing clear. I didn't kill your father.
Do you think anyone believes you?
Ryman, get out of here.
Okay.
Cut. Let's give it up for Ryden as well. So for this one, we'll need 2 volunteers. In the hat, in the red hat, yes.
Wait, this Russian dude right here.
You will play Solidus. Come on up.
You know, he actually
And you'll play
started doing
Ryan.
voiceovers.
I know.
You know, okay.
Oh, that's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, Devin. Devin.
You can use my mic. You can use my mic.
So you decided to show yourself.
Olga, don't do this. They'll know.
I'll hold them off. Give you time to get away.
What about you?
This
is suicide.
You're nanomachines. They're transmitting your vital signs to the Patriots. If you die, my child dies. Do you understand?
It's a child.
I see. So that's why you sold your troops out to me. So many dead, and they all died trusting you. Weren't they your comrades?
No, not just comrades. Family.
Ha!
Ha! I know I am going to hell, but at least my child.
I applaud your attitude. If you have a death wish, I'd be happy to accommodate you. See you in hell.
And scene.
Thank you, thank you.
Great job. Thank you,
Nicely
Devin.
done, everyone. Okay, scene 8. We have another volunteer.
It's so funny for those noises. It just said
Right-
dot,
right
dot,
here.
dot. It said dot, dot, dot. Like, what is dot, dot, dot? Is she dying or what's happening there?
So this will be David,
Dot,
and you
dot,
will play Ryan.
Who am I really?
No one quite knows who or what they are. The memories you have and the role you were assigned are burdens you have to carry. It doesn't matter if they were real or not. That's never the point. There's no such thing in the world as absolute reality. Most of what they call real is actually fiction. What you think you see is only as real as your brain cells tell you it is.
Then what am I supposed to believe in? What am I going to leave behind when I'm through?
We can tell other people about having faith, what we had faith in, what we found important enough to fight for. It's not whether you were right or wrong, but how much faith you were willing to have that decides the future. The Patriots are a kind of ongoing fiction too, come to think of it. ... It's a good point. Listen, don't obsess over words so much. Find the meaning behind the words and then decide. You can find your own name and your own future.
Decide for myself?
And whatever you choose will be you.
I don't know if I can.
I know you didn't have much in terms of choices this time, but everything you felt, thought about during this mission is yours, and what you decide to do with them is your choice.
You mean start over?
Yeah, a clean slate, a new name, new memories. Choose your own legacy. It's for you to decide. It's up to you.
Let's give it up for Ryden. Okay, we'll do one more scene 9. So this will once again be Christopher and David.
I got another text from Kris. She says, "See you next year." I guess we're doing number 3 then.
You gotta do it. Okay, Christopher and David, whenever you are ready.
Snake, you there? It's me. I've finished going over that disc.
Did you find the Patriots list?
Of course. It contains the personal data of 12 people. There was a name on it, Snake. It was one of our biggest contributors.
What's going on around here?
I don't know.
Anyway, where are they?
Well, we were right about them being on Manhattan, but
But what?
they're already dead. All 12 of them.
When did it happen?
Well, about 100 years ago.
What the hell?
Cut. I'd like to throw one wild card at you all. Could you try that scene again, but switch characters, since you mentioned that, Christopher, you auditioned as Snake.
Snake, you there? It's me. I finished going over that disc.
Did you find the Patriots list?
I love Otacon Snake. Literally. Of course. It contains the personal data of 12 people. There was a name on it. Snake. It was one of our biggest contributors.
What's going on around here?
I don't know.
Anyway, where are they?
Well, we were right about them being on Manhattan, but
what?
They're already dead. All 12 of them.
When did it happen?
Well, about 100 years ago.
What the hell?
And cut. That was amazing. As you all look back on the experience now, what makes the Metal Gear Solid games unique compared to your other projects you've worked on?
Oh, people really like this one. What made it different? It's Metal Gear is just completely unique unto itself. It's its own language. It's its own atmosphere and feel and tone. I mean, there's nothing like it. And it absolutely revolutionized video games. Those things.
There's a depth to all these characters. That you don't find in a lot of other games. Sometimes, I mean, this was the first game to have characters with backstories and depth and emotions, and we're actors. Anything like that, we love it. It's what we're here to do.
Final question for everyone here. This is for each of you. What do you hope fans will remember the most about your character and performance in the MGS games?
Well, my goal for Snake in every iteration was to create this badass character who's got empathy, who cares about the people around him and will do anything for them. And my goal, really, my ultimate goal was for somebody who might be suffering anxiety or afraid to face things in their life or whatever, to step into this character and feel like, you know, the ultimate badass and somebody who could take on anything in their lives. And so, you know, I've gotten a lot of feedback over the years from people who were inspired in that way. And that's my favorite aspect of the character. It's just, you know, we step into that battlefield together and you can take on anything.
Maura, how about you?
I just say the thing that I want people to take away from Fortune is her strength and her resolve and her love for family, because those are the ingredients that made her who she is, and why she was so desperate to get back to family and not be present. So I'd have to say that. I'd say her love of family and her strength and resolve.
Amazing.
I would say the same for Olga. I wish I had more female characters like that to look up to when I was growing up. You know, the word badass, the term, is what applies to her as well. And I was also shocked to see that her action figure had armpit hair. So, like, it's just never ending. She's living her best life to the fullest, and I
No
applaud
shame.
her.
We envy her.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, when you play a boss, you hope that players will know how to kill your character. Well, especially this guy, because that way, you will be the ones to finally end me.
Amazing.
Well, I hope that people take away the fact that love can bloom even on a battlefield. And you know, we're all on a battlefield in one form or another. And so I hope that we all look for the love in the midst of all our struggles. You know, that's what I hope.
Amazing. If you haven't already, please be sure to line up and get an autograph or a picture with all of these legends today. Also, my Transport Audio team created a really fun VO booth experience where you can try your hand at revoicing characters, voice acting yourself in an MGS2 cutscene. Our booth is right over here. The tutorial videos for the booth were even voiced by Christopher Randolph. So go check that out as well. David, Christopher, Vanessa, Phil, and Maura, thank you so much for breathing life into our favorite characters and for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I want to get a picture with all of you guys. Can you stand